Oh, man. Good evening, man. Sorry I'm late to the party. Better late than never. But look, Tuesday night football. Forest Park High. Open up their JV season tonight versus Centerville. And so I was in the building. I was out there. Got kind of brisk at the end of the night. But definitely, and wasn't a favorable outcome. But guess what? Nonetheless, it was an enjoyable game. And the reason why I say it's an enjoyable game because it was football. You know what I'm saying? So was definitely glad we had the opportunity to go out there. And definitely looking forward to, I think it's 8 more games. The one game that was on the schedule they took off was versus Freedom later in the season. And so they took that game off of the schedule. And, here's the thing is, let me tell you something about the law of reciprocity. They try to villainize, one of our favorite coaches. They try, what's going on, Travis Corbin? How you doing? Good evening. They try to villainize him. I'm not going to say his name, but y'all know who it was. So he took his talents elsewhere, and the program has not recovered since, And so, I don't wish people bad luck. I don't wish people, to have a hard time. But, the things that you do, make sure you understand when you do them with ill intent, ain't nothing good going to come back to you. And that's the law of reciprocity. I don't make the law. I follow it. And I believe in it. So when you go out there and you do stuff to people, I guarantee you this, that you are going to get it back. You're going to get it back when you least expect it, and it's going to come back harder than what you put out there. So, but definitely saw him late, like I said. We was at there. And, I'm definitely, let me tell you something. It's not a shameless plug. It is it's a shout out to my son. Can't call him Savage One no more. Got to call him 21. So he will officially be making his high school debut Thursday night with the varsity squad. Forest Park, when Forest Park takes the field this Thursday night at Centerville, he will be on the varsity squad. And, he will be, I don't know how far he is on the depth chart. I don't care. But he'll be one of the safeties. So 1, 2, or 3, I don't know how deep they go. And he'll be on the kickoff team. And this is what I told him. You're in the 9th grade. You're a freshman. So first and foremost, you got to give yourself a shout out. Because keep this in mind, you could have been relegated. Or I'm not going to say relegated because it seems like that it would have been beneath him, which it wouldn't have been. He could have been on JV. So let me say this, like that would have been a great thing too. However, he cracked the code and he's going to be on the varsity squad. And that's where he that's where he needs to be. And why I say that is although he's a freshman and I don't know the plan of Coach Benson, and it's not my concern. Here's the thing is this. Landon got to go get it. He got to go out there and be the workhorse and get whatever's out there. Here's the thing is, it's just like working a job. You move up. Your currency at your job is your work ethic. And it's just as simple as that. Some of y'all got jobs because y'all knew somebody, and that's the ball is going to bounce like that sometimes. But in this football world, coaches that coach, coaches that teach, coaches that develop, they don't want a kid that they know that ain't worth nothing. They want kids that's going to help them promote, move, and win games. So I don't think there's no coach out here, even with y'all youth football coaches, try to say, man, it's about the kids. And I think it is. But you also want to win. That's the goal. Winning is the goal. How you get there is on you. but winning is a goal. So, you know, I say, when I say I'm proud, it is really a representation of me, my wife, and anybody that's self-supporting. But, you know, it's easy to say I'm proud, and I am proud of him because, you know, he's where he needs to be. And it's only up from here. So I will be at the game in Centerville on Thursday night. And I'll be cheering if you're going there for one play or several plays, you know. Like I said, and the crazy thing about it is, last Monday, when they put out the rosters, you know, I think at some point he felt defeated, and I told him, I said, because he wasn't on the initial roster for varsity, and I told him, I said, man, what are you upset about? You're going to get where you need to be when you need to be there. See, sometimes we're so anxious and we're so focused on our goal and our plan, we fail to realize that sometimes God got the plan that we need. I have a saying, and I picked this up years ago, and I'm not trying to preach in the pulpit, but I say this: man plans, God plans, and God is the best of planners. You know, and I believe that 199%. You know, had went out last night to the Osborne Park in the Colgan JV game, and I saw some of the young fellas. I saw Brandon Davis, Elijah Nickens, Faison Morning, Dejon Wright, Taylor Housden, little girl that used to play with, little Christy Berg, she was out there. Adrian Bostic, all those kids. Garrison Barfield, you know, little Cooper. I call Cooper named Coop so much, I don't even know the young man's name. But I had a great time watching those kids out there. You know, Dejon, Tyler, you know, Eli, Faison, all those kids I watched since 8-9U. All those kids. So to watch them, you know, Jason Campbell, well, he didn't play last night because Jason on varsity, he's a freshman on varsity for Osborne City. But to watch those kids go from 7 and 8 to being the young men they are now, you know, I ain't worried about getting old. Let me tell you something. You live long enough, you're going to sometimes you got to wait your turn. Exactly. You'll be where you're supposed to. Exactly, Coach. And you've been around the game. You know that, Coach Montanet. You've been around the game. You know it. You done coached plenty of kids. And here's the thing is, you know, you know a beginning product. And I tell people that sometimes people get caught up on the end product. They want to be the end product. But they don't realize, like, it's always a process to get to that end product. And sometimes that end product never finishes. You know what I'm saying? It is ongoing. Sometimes that end product, I used to tell people this, and I used to always liken landing to when I was in the pizza business. And, we started, the pizza dough would be frozen. And then we would set it out for 12 to 24 hours to thaw in the refrigerator. And then once it thawed out and it was pliable, then we would bring it out and put it in room temperature for at least, 20 minutes, I believe it was, 20, 30 minutes. And then after that, after it reached room temperature, we couldn't put it back in the refrigerator no more. It was ready to be made into pizza dough. And then once we pressed the pizza dough, y'all been to my pizza, press the pizza dough, boom. We're able to take that and create a pizza to your liking, right? And that was a process. That was a process. And sometimes it was a tedious process. And if me as the manager, me as the boss, me as the main guy, if I didn't make sure that we had what we call them pars, and pars are where we create these levels to accommodate business. And naturally on a slow time, the pars is going to be different from a busy time, right? But if you didn't master that, you go into that busy time and you ain't got enough dough thawed, let me tell you something. You were in for trouble. You were in for trouble. Simple as that. Because let me tell you, that dough is hard as a rock. You take one of them frozen dough and you throw it up by somebody's head, you're going to jail. Hard as a rock, hard as a brick. But the process was to give it 12 to 24 hours to thaw, right? And if you skipped any step in that process, the product that you was creating was going to be subpar. Simple as that. See, if you try to, sometimes people thought they were slick and they were flash thaw the dough, right? And that's where you take the dough and you put it at room temperature and you put it under water. It's an old messed up process. But guess what? The dough was horrible. But guess what? When you didn't prepare and you didn't follow the steps and you didn't plan ahead, you had no choice but to cut corners. When you cut corners, you gave out a subpar product every time. And that's what I tell people when I liken my son. My son is still a work. He's the dough. He's right now. He's the thawed dough. He done came through the frozen process and the thawing process, and we got him at room temperature. Now he's ready to be molded and shaped, but he still got a lot of ways to go. He still has a lot of ways to go. But guess what? With this game right here, what's going on, Mr. Surge? Salute to you, my brother. Salute to you. But the process is ever evolving. And you can't skip steps. See, because this is what I tell my son now. You know, do your push-ups. When you get in the weight room, go all out. Make sure you eat. Make sure you drink. Make sure you hydrate. Fool around and don't go out there hydrated. You're going to catch a cramp. Keep on catching cramps. The coach going to have a conversation with you. So why are we going through the same thing over and over? Because it's just like a job. If I got to continue to tell you how to do your job, I don't need you. If I got to continue to tell you certain nuances of your job, what do I need you for? Absolutely. You need the leadership and guidance. But if I got to keep telling you to bring your laptop, to read your emails, to do whatever, the things, the little basic things, then I don't need you. And this is what I get on him about, not for no other reason, because you cannot skip process. You can't jump from A to J. You got to take it A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And sometimes your patience runs there, but understand this. Success is not overnight. Being good, great, the greatest is not overnight. Just because you woke up this morning and say, I want to be the best, then what are you doing to formulate that to be the best? What are you doing to put in an order to be the best? What are you doing within yourself and saying, you know what? I'm going to make these thoughts, dreams, I'm going to manifest them. Like the saying go, don't talk about it, be about it. Every success story started with a dream. Every success story started with a thought, an idea. But the difference between the idea and the success is a manifestation, is the work that's put into it. The trial and the error. The fail and succeed. Because see, this is what I know and believe, and I say this right, and let me share this with you. And I always share this story. My wife think I love talking about stuff like this, man. When I left my home in Jacksonville, North Carolina, went to Baltimore, lived in Baltimore for 6 months, and then we ended up in Quantico, Virginia, right? But I'm a dude from North Carolina, and I got a country slang, twang, or whatnot, you know, and I was in the 6th grade. I was in the 6th grade, and I remember being in Baltimore, and it's funny because, and you got to follow me on this. It's funny because, you know, the one thing that I learned in that time in Baltimore is, one, you can't give people credit. You can't give people, how can I say it? You know, I always tell my son, if somebody's better than you, right? If somebody can outdo you, then guess what? Make them prove it. They lips say anything, mouth say anything. Mouth say, Muhammad Ali, you say I'm the greatest, but guess what? He talked a lot of shit and he backed it up. He talked a lot of shit and he backed it up. So anyway, I'm in Baltimore, and I remember this little fat kid, little dusty ass kid, Jeffrey. used to always try to say little slick stuff. And you know me, I'm trying to stay on the radar, let it go. See, once I got hip, you know, it's like, okay, so you trying to trap me once I got hip. And it's funny because the schools in Baltimore, we would come up a staircase to go in. And when we went out to leave, we came up on a landing, like a roof landing, and we would walk down to go home, right? I remember this particular day, like my dear said, I'll see you at 3 o'clock. And we on the top of the building, supposed to be going home, and I whooped that ass. But I was nervous. I was scared. I'm like, okay, dude was a little bigger than me, little fat ass boy was bigger than me, but I whooped that ass. And I learned that day, right, from another kid. After that day, he was more nervous of me than I ever was nervous of any of them. And now, you think I'm promoting violence, I'm not. I'm saying that at that time, I gave somebody more credit for being tougher than me, for being bad than me, could fight. And the beautiful thing about it is, let me tell you something. And I always tell my wife this. I hate that Landon doesn't grow up with brothers because he's the only child, and cousins, boy cousins. Because let me tell you this. My brother used to whoop my ass. My brother was 4 years older than me, rest in peace, and he used to whoop my ass. We used to fight. Man, let me tell you. And it was nothing more gratifying than when I got older and I returned the favor. But in the meantime, all that stuff that he taught me, I was able to defend myself. And you say, what that got to do with anything? It has a lot to do with anything. Because it made me ready for any and every battle. It made me mindful of that I could protect myself. And I didn't have to be the scaredy cat. And so, you know, like, I think at one point, my son probably second-guessed himself. He's like, I'm a freshman. I'm going to play varsity football. But you do realize, right, and I had these conversations, that you're giving the opponents more credit than they deserve. You're giving them more credit than they deserve. Because until they prove to you that they can outplay you, you're equal, if not better. How many times I told you, when you look in the mirror, you tell yourself, ain't nobody greater than me. How many times did I preach that to you? And so, you know, the dynamics of it is, I'm definitely proud of them. Man, I was out there this past weekend, Sunday, and I caught a little bit of the games. 703 United had their 6U playing against PME. And, man, them little kids, man, they was balling. They played fearless. They played, man, unapologetically. Man, you know, then I watched Lou Jolly in 11U and, you know, had a little kid up there. What's his name? Lolo, number 3. You know, and I had little Coco at Coco was number 3. And he had a touchdown or 2. I came late to the game, so I missed the opening touchdown, but I know I caught one of his touchdowns. Little Joker was running like he was running from a dog, boy. Let me tell you something. Little Joker had some wheels on him, and you know. And I remember his brother used to be with 703 a couple of years ago. He played, and now the baby boy's playing. And, you know, let me tell you something about the cycle of life, man. You know, you hang around this game long enough, you're going to see them babies. You see the sibling, the older sibling playing. And you see the babies tagging along, running around, or they irritated because they're in the field all day, whatever. And then you look up, and them babies end up being the superstars. Them babies end up being that kid. You know, and that was definitely a treat. And then, like I said, 11U had the young man, number 3, Lolo. I didn't catch his name. I didn't do an interview this weekend. Definitely going to say that for the season. But that young man put on a clinic. And I think Blue Jolly got a good pretty good team, you know. And so they played, I think, City Life and beat them. And it's preseason. And I always say this, man. You know, the one thing about preseason, those preseason games, you know, y'all take it how you want to take it, but it matters only to the victor. And you know what to say. And remember, great people doing the same thing, routine, same. Yeah, exactly, Coach Chris. They are, you know, and that's the thing is, you know, success comes in the form of just putting in that work, man. A lot of people think like you got to reinvent the wheel, but they do know the wheel has been the same way for years. And although you improved on it, you didn't reinvent it. And so, you know, the same thing when we go out here and we, you know, work on our craft, you know, you're not reinventing nothing. You're just getting better at it. And that's the truth of it, you know. Shout out to Calvary. Like I said, EP Calvary. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know their name. I don't know if their name is EP Calvary or whatever, but I know they merged. But, you know, they had some big wins in this offseason. You know, I'm not even going to lie. They went down there to Virginia Beach at the EL Classic, and they beat a good, goddamn BCN 12U team, that 12U team. They beat a good, and you know, I don't, you know, I look at rankings and you know, like me personally, I don't invest enough energy. What's up, Coach Fred, man? Well, good seeing you yesterday, and good knowing that Adrian back on the football field, and man, can't wait to see young man doing great things, man. Definitely excited to see those kids, man, and hopefully I can pop out to a couple more games and watch those boys ball, man, because, you know, it's definitely a treasure. You know, I met Coach Fred when he was one of the coaches for American Pride, coaching with Joe. And, you know, stand-up guy. And definitely, you know, always good to see good people, you know, living a good life. You know, but going back to the EP Cavalry, you know, that team, that 12U team, man, I think they're going to make some noise. And, you know, I think the Atlantic region, somebody did the Atlantic region rankings, and they were ranked #1. Rightfully so. Rightfully so, because let me tell you something, man. Like I said, they had that big win, and I'm not sure all who they played. Unfortunately, I didn't make it. Somebody asked me today why I didn't go to EF, and I said, man, you know, my wife had me on lockdown, and you know, the one thing about it, you know, I got mad respect for EF, and I definitely, you know, love watching what he does, and you know, y'all keep saying, you know, like he got the best event. What's going on, Coach Darren? Congratulations on the ranking, on the top ranking, and so forth. Then next year should be even bigger. Next year should be even bigger. But definitely congratulations to the EP Cavalry for that ranking, and it's well deserved. And here's the thing is, you know, like Bravo, I say it with my chest. I'm loud, I'm boisterous, whatever. People can tell you, like I used to get in arguments with people about land. I used to say mad stuff about land, and people act like I shot them. And I was like, okay, one thing about it, if you don't like what I say about mine, you can carry your ass. I'm going to talk about mine. And fast forward years later, I've highlighted hundreds of kids. I've recognized hundreds of kids. And I'll, you know, interview hundreds of kids. And I will continue to do what I do. But at the end of the day, you know, thank you. Thank you, Coach Jim, because y'all came. Let me tell you something. It's funny. I say this, man. They snuck on the scene. You know, it's kind of like a vampire. Let me tell you something, man. They came on the scene quiet and started turning asses up immediately. I think they won Vafor. That group, and Coach Darren up here, he can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the first year they came to Vafor, which was 3 years ago, at 10U, they won Vafor off the top. And people say, man, Vafor shit, goddamn lie. Winning Vafor was something. Those that didn't win it, those that haven't won it, their feelings hurt. But those that won it, it's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And they've definitely made their mark in the state. And so that's a special team, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run for that national championship. Eric Washington, what you doing? How are you and the family, man? I see Miss Brooke allowed you to come on for a minute. How long you gonna be on? For 2-3 minutes? You know, not always good to see Eric Washington. Eric Washington, basketball coach, as well as a football coach. You think he's a goddamn guru, red bastard. I think he got all the goddamn red bastard. You know, and so yeah, so definitely. And let me tell you something, man. A lot of times when I say this, y'all get confused. If I line up against you, I want to whoop that ass unmercifully. I don't care. Line up against you, I want to whoop that ass. But I don't want not one of your kids to get hurt. And at the end of the day, I hope when we shake hands, say good game, that it's sincere. You know, because here's the thing is, and this is one of the things that we always got to translate to our kids, man. That one, you know, we play the sport to win. But in the event we lose, we walk away with the same dignity that we started with. You know, a lot of times coaches, parents, people get in their feelings because they lost. But here's the thing is, did you lose at life? You lost a fucking game. Did you lose at life? Let me tell you something. If I lose $100 fucking, I'm going to be pissed the fuck off. But if I lose a football game and I don't gamble on it, so, you know, at the end of the day, what did I lose? Nothing. Nothing. I probably gained more than I lost, because here's the thing is, if I take the loss and I go back and I look at the things that we didn't do right, and I evaluate it, because that's what good coaches do. They take and they look at the footage, because if you're out here and nobody's videotaping your game where you can go back and look at it, shame on you. But if you're taking and you're saying, okay, I can go back and I can see, and that's where I can coach such and such to say, okay, you got beat over the top because of this. Or such and such, the hole clawed up because you didn't block. When it was a run play, you should have blocked this way, but you blocked as if we was throwing a pass. And if you're not able to take and go back and look at the footage and dissect it, then you just fucking with people money. You fucking with people money, because think about this. How are you coaching? Some of y'all ain't able to coach in real time. You stand on the sideline, and we know the famous saying, block somebody. Well, who? Block the fuck who? Who is he blocking? Who should he block? Be more specific. Pinpoint. Call. Block number 56. He blowing your ass up. Put a helmet on his ass. Steve, block number 72. Why is he getting in the backfield every play? Not block somebody. Goddamn, if that's the case, the young people might go and block the goddamn referee or the camera person. Better not block me. Hit you with the goddamn tripod. Better not block me. But you understand what I'm saying? See, I can understand the mamas in the goddamn stand to my block somebody, because they're not coaching. But if you as a coach to my block somebody, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10. That's just one of the nuances that we hear at the football field. If you're not taking and able to say, let me look at this film. And I get it. You're volunteering, right? I get it, you're volunteering. I get it, you're volunteering. But then don't say that you're leader, you're coaching and developing people. Say, man, I'm just taking a group of kids and putting them on the field, and we'll figure it out as the fuck we go. See, because if you're coaching, guess what? You're constantly teaching. You're constantly giving somebody information. Let me tell you something. When I was in the restaurant, right, I didn't make fucking pizzas. I could do anything in a goddamn restaurant better than most of the people that work for me. But guess what? If I was the best in the restaurant, shame the fuck on me. That's why I taught more than I did. You know why I taught more than I did? Because that was my job. That was my responsibility. I taught. I explained and I taught. Had a situation one time when I was in a different concept. This is years and years ago. Elevation Burger. Elevation Burger is like organic beef. It was just like Five Guys. It had a lady, older lady, compared to the people that was working there. And, you know, like, you know, I think this is going to sound crazy, but we had to have somebody on fries, like making fries. Because one thing, we took potatoes and we pop and turned them into fries and we blanched them. And then we put them in, what do we call that? When you pre-fry them, let them sit, whatnot, whatever. I forget the terminology, whatever. And one of my managers came to me and said, well, I can't seem to get through to her. And I said, well, one thing, you know, you got to figure out how to teach people. You have to figure out, how can I reach this person? How can I reach this person? You know, Tyler White and coaches that, yeah, block somebody, do nothing for their lineman in the offseason too. Exactly. Tyler White, we're going to come back to that. I'm going to bring that back. And so, one, you're trying to teach everybody something the same way. But you do realize that some people learn this way, some people learn this way. And you got to understand the person in order to teach them. So I said, I tell you what, I'll teach you. First thing I said is, if you don't learn this, you're going to be without a job. Sorry. Then I showed him. I showed her. Boom. This is how you do it. This, the boom, boom, boom. Boom. Showed her again. Boom, 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 boom. Showed her again. Boom, boom, boom. Then I stepped back. I said, your turn. And I didn't take for granted that she knew. I stood back and I said, okay. Fix that. Do this. Now you got it. See, because if you're just telling somebody to do something, go block. Go block. Block somebody. Block somebody. Did you teach him how to fucking block? Did you teach him how to block? And like Tyler White said, in the offseason, everybody's focused on the skill kid 7-on-7. And I tell people this, at the end of the day, Landon ain't but so goddamn big, so he'll never be a fucking lineman. So I don't even get caught up in that shit about every kid want to be a skill player. My kid ain't but so fucking big, so he ain't got no choice but to be a defensive back, safety, wide receiver. Like, so what the fuck? Like, he is like, so when people say that, my thing is this: if a kid is a certain weight, then absolutely put his ass on the line or whatever, teach him how to block. But I don't get caught up in that. Everybody's kid want to be a specialty player. My son has no fucking choice. He ain't but so fucking big. So he's going to be a defensive back, a safety, a goddamn wide receiver. But think about this. If you're saying that a kid is of a certain stature and a certain weight, then you got to teach him. Don't just assume because he's big, because there's a saying, and people get mad at big for fucking nothing. Think about all the goddamn tall kids that you see, and the first thing you think is they play basketball or something, and the kids say, I never played a sport in my life. So think about those kids that are of a certain stature that want to learn. Are you teaching them? Like I said, everybody want to be the goddamn this and that, but you do know the quarterback can't throw a goddamn ball if the goddamn lineman or the linebacker's in his goddamn face and he running for dear life. You do realize that. You do realize that at the end of the day, goddamn quarterback can throw the ball 80 yards, but if he can't fucking drop back and set, how the fuck he gonna complete a pass? If his ass is in, if he's lineman in hot pursuit of him every goddamn play. What's up, Rambo? What's going on, bruh? What's going on, nephew? So as you develop these, like I said, the jet sweeper is one of the easiest fucking plays to teach. So why are you still teaching kids that? Teach your motherfucker how to put his hand in the dirt and how to push somebody into the goddamn goalpost. I don't know how to do it, but if you call yourself a coach, then if you can't do it, bring somebody on that can do it. And if they can't fucking do it, go on YouTube and fucking figure it out. I don't know what to tell you. But you do know that goddamn receiver ain't going to catch a goddamn pass because it ain't going to be thrown to him if the goddamn quarterback can't buy some goddamn time. And it's only so many times you can set up in the goddamn shotgun, think, and you're going to be able to fucking just sit in the shotgun and tear fucking defense apart. Liar. Because if somebody blowing that goddamn lineman up, if they tearing their ass up, that quarterback would never get a goddamn opportunity. And God forbid, if he tried to handle, I seen a goddamn play tonight, as soon as the goddamn running back got it, the lineman was in his chest. Think about that. So, like you said, Tyler White, you got to put Justin Tony, Lineman Lives Matter. He have 3 or 4, 5 camps, right? Every year. Every year. And I'm going to say this. Think about this. If you cannot, hey, what's going on? I'm grown. I'm glad to feel you made past my bed. I'm grown. I go to bed when the goddamn roofs come up. Shit. Grown people do what they want to do. Shit. This beard and this gray hair say that I do what I want to do, especially in the privacy of my own home. But if you say, fuck it, I don't want to pay nobody, or I can't afford to pay nobody, then get your ass acclimated to what it is and go out there. I did it during COVID. I used to take Landon out there. I don't do it no more. But during COVID, I used to take his ass out 6 o'clock in the morning and fuck him up. And I'll be lying. My mother-in-law called my wife, what is he doing to my baby? Yeah, okay. One thing about it, he'd be ready for the goddamn battle. And we do it every now and then, get up and go out there and what you call it. But don't get into that thing. And I'm going to say this so we're clear. And I understand it, but I understand even more. That's why I told Lanny, you got 4 goddamn years to get it right with this football shit if that's what you want to do. And what I mean by that, so we understand this, right? That you have to look at it as you got to put such and such to the side. You got to put such and such to the side. And you have to worry about you. You have to worry about you. And what I mean by that is your development and your growth is going to determine what you get out of it. So like I said, I'm definitely proud of him because he's on the varsity team. But now his thing is this. One, I told him this, and I believe this. You cannot betray the trust that's been given to you. Don't make your coach out to be a liar, a fool. Don't make those coaches that invested in you and believe in you to be fools. Go out there and bust your ass. If you feel like you're working hard, work harder. If you feel like you want to give up, throw the fuck up and keep moving. If you feel like, you know what, it's a rough challenge, stand the fuck up. Hold your head up, man the fuck up, and do what you got to do, and then some. Do not betray trust. Because that's a trust. That's a belief that's been put into you, saying, you know what? You one of the youngest on the goddamn field, if not the youngest. And I'm putting you on my football field to help my team be successful. Man, not trying to fucking lose a goddamn game. 2 years ago, I had 5 versus 5 seasons. Red was in. And that's what it is. And when and here's the thing is, Tyler White, and I know your son is top tier, but it comes with work, it comes with pace, it comes with, and then let me say this, it comes with parent investment. It comes with parent investment. It comes with parent investment. Simple as that. It's just as simple as that. If you're not investing in the child, let me tell you something. The child landed 14, can't drive a car, can barely make noodles, all that stuff. Let me tell you. And I'm not talking, when I say parent investment, I don't mean new cleats, new gloves, Under Armour this, Nike Tech this, whatever. I mean parent investment that, you know, every now and then, stop spending money on your goddamn self and spend some money on their development. Everybody can find a dime or two for what they want. Everybody can find a dime or two for something they want. So find a couple more dimes and invest in your child. I told Landon this, and I stand on this. We went to one camp, Old Dominion, this past year, like this a college camp, and, you know, they, you know, testing your metrics and whatnot, you know, showing you little stuff. I said, next year, I said, this is what I need you to understand. Don't make no plans for next summer. No plans. Because you're going to go on a tour. my guy right here, this young man right here, Cade Gibbs, they had his first high school game last Friday out of Pennsylvania. I've been following Cade and his story, his journey for about 4 or 5 years. Met the family, great family, his family, and the Melbournes, Miss Lindsay and Mr. Gadasha. If I say your name wrong, brother, I apologize. I barely say my name right. But understand this, right? They've been making investments. Those kids go to camps in Maryland, OD, go to all the big football camps. And I told mine, what's going on, Tank? I ain't seen you so long, man. I forgot how you look. How you doing, man? What's going on with you? What's going on with my main man? And that's what I told him. I said, man, you don't make no plans for next summer. I don't give a goddamn. Don't make a plan. Don't put nothing on your goddamn calendar. Because I'm a save up PTO and I'm going to put a couple goddamn pennies in the goddamn piggy bank and we're going to be on the road every weekend or every time there's a camp. And my goal is to do at least 6 or 7, if not more. And now they get expensive, whatever. But guess what? I got to make an investment because here's the thing is this, and this is my belief. What is meant for him is going to come to him. But guess what? I'm going to try my best to help him get it. Put it like that. I'm going to try my best to put him in a situation to get it. Because I know this, when Dean dead and gone, you can put the fucking money in the jewelry in the goddamn coffin like King Tut, but guess what? That shit ain't going to do nothing but drive right. So I'm going to make an investment now in him while I'm living. And I'm going to put some aside for him when I'm gone. And it ain't just about football. You know, he's an A student. I look at Parent View every goddamn day. Every day. You say, Bravo, ain't remember 7 days in the school year. 7 days in the school year. I don't care. He got work. He got grades. He got 4 A's so far. 4 for 4. The other 2, they haven't done nothing. 4 for 4. Let me tell you something. If you don't make an investment in your child, who the fuck you think gonna make the investment? Who's gonna make the investment? If you don't make, you think the coach gonna make the investment? The coach trying to win. And think about this, right? How many coaches on here? Raise your right hand if you're that guy. But you'll take a team full of kids that's learning and teach them, or you want a team full of kids that are ready made. Now, some of y'all gonna tell a lie and say, man, I take those kids in development. You lie. Because here's the thing is, you're recruiting kids, a lot of y'all coaches recruiting kids every day. Every day. Man, I look at all, man, let me tell you something, man. I can name you some kids from every age group that's phenomenal. I thought I saw Coach Crandall up there. His son Deuce been killing it for 3 years. Deuce, what, 7, 8? I don't know. How old is Deuce, Coach Crandall, if you still up here? He been killing it. He won a Bravo Running Back Award of the year a couple years ago. And I'm pretty sure he didn't get it. I don't think he got it this past year. Another kid got it. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the running for this goddamn year. Because the kid played with so much heart and enthusiasm and talent. And I'm sure, I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure Coach Crandall is cultivating that young man. Because he plays like a child that's being developed. He plays like a child that somebody's taking and investing in. He plays like a child that's being nurtured. And why not? I believe this 199% that as a father, I give my son the talents and the knowledge that I have. That's why when people talk about daddy ball, I'm like, okay, well, you do realize that as a father, if I coach, you damn right, I'm going to invest in my child. You damn right, my child is going to benefit from my knowledge. But the beautiful thing about coaches that might start with coaching their children, guess what? The beautiful thing about it is other people benefit. Think about this, and I tell people this, and I get in my feelings about this one. Bravo TV was created because of mine. That's what the fuck Bravo, that dreadhead, mine. That's what Bravo was created for. Him, Bravo TV. Like I said, if I buy 99 goddamn rings, if I buy 100 rings, 99 leaving out the house, because one of them going to stay on his mountain. But guess what? In that creation, for him, hundreds of kids have benefited since then. Think about that. Hundreds of kids. And that's the same thing with these coaches. That although they might have started, and like I said, we can go back, because we do understand this, that sometimes coaches take their kid, the kid ain't no good, and they still will put them in a position for to be criticized. But guess what? Joe Blunt said it best a couple of years ago. If my son is 7.5 and yours is an 8, yours got to get 2 more goddamn points before I put him over my son. Meaning that a 7.5 and an 8 is the same when it comes to comparison to my son, because I'm going to give him the 9 because that's mine. If somebody called me right now and said, Bravo, I got 1 scholarship, who do you think should get it? I said, man, conversation would go like this. Are you really asking me, or are you telling me you're calling me because you got a scholarship for my son? That's how the conversation would go. Damn, who feelings got hurt by me making that statement? But if I got called right now and somebody said, look, we got 1 scholarship, who do you want to give it to? The words that's going to come out of my mouth going to be, what do I need to sign? What do we need to do? Simple as that. Because as a father, naturally, I'm going to horse mine up first. I don't lie to my child. I don't give him false hope and sell him dreams, because understand this. I was told this years ago. I said, man, he said, think about this scenario when you lie to the people. Think about this scenario when you falsify information to the people you supposedly care for. He said, man, if I came to you and I said, Dean, how does my haircut look? And it looked like shit. And I said, man, shoot, man, Joker knocked that out of the park, man. That's official. And then the first time somebody say, man, look at this Joker here with that whack-ass haircut, they're going to be mad with you, because had I told him the truth, he could have fixed it. He could have corrected it. That although the truth is hard to swallow, guess what? You can correct it. When people tell you the truth. I don't lie to my son. I don't tell him man stuff. Yeah, when I tell him he's doing good, you goddamn right. I believe that wholeheartedly. And when he don't do good, let me tell you something. He hears it. You might not hear it, but he's going to hear it. Because that's the most important thing about fatherhood. It's teaching our children. It's guiding them. It's correcting them. And hopefully building them the fuck up. And sometimes the conversations are hard. Sometimes the lessons that you give, they hurt feelings. But guess what? I'd rather hurt your feelings so I could fix it with you than somebody else hurt your feelings and you're ready to fight. Because sometimes, although you don't like what dad say, it comes a little smoother than maybe such and such. So guess what? We'll try to fix it now. And dad don't have the solution to every problem, but dad knows what he sees. And like I said, it's no sense in me lying to mine. Same way I would hope that you don't lie to yours. Tell them what it is. And here's the thing is, don't see your kids with rose-colored glasses. Don't look at your children and think they're God's gift to life. Look at your kids with patience, love, and understanding. But also look at your kids knowing that daggone, I got to make sure I give them every possible tool to be successful in life. And one of the tools that we got to give them in life is to be able to accept rejection, accept loss, accept criticism, accept people that's not going to like them, accept backbiters, accept frenemies, all that. You know what I'm saying? Think of how many people Think of how many people that stab you in the back. Think of how many people that backbit you. Think of how many people that hated on you and you didn't know. I tell my wife all the time, there's people out here in your life that's running a race against you. You don't even know it. They're in competition with you. Think about the people that's rooting against your child and you don't even know it. I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. And guess what? It didn't stop me one bit, because once I figure out that you don't like what I'm doing with my child, I say it loud. I double down. I see you 10 and I'll raise you fucking 50. I max your goddamn energy and I add on 100 more goddamn kilowatts. You understand me? But think how many people, what's going on, Rue? But think how many people hate on your kid. Think of how many people that hate on you. You know, they talk about Deion. I told my wife this tonight. They said, man, they put they cut the oldest boy Shiloh, I guess, for the little fight. I don't know. Let me tell you something. I don't know. But I'm getting secondhand information. And you know the situation we know with the youngest son Shador. And I'm like, I said, damn, I never knew that people didn't like Deion that much. But you know what? The thing I have is, you know, the hate, and I believe this, the success. And in his success, he's teaching his kids how to be successful. And they don't like it. People don't like that. So it's just my belief I stand on. It's one of those things where, you know what, I'm going to knock you the fuck down, and I'm going to knock your kids even further down. And that's when you tell your kids, hold your goddamn head up. That's when you tell your kids, thank them. Let me tell you something. And this is from the heart. I was okay with Landon being on the JV squad. I was okay with it, because guess what? Like I said, what's meant for him is going to come to him when it's supposed to. Man plans, God plans. God is the best of planners. I was even more elated, not going to lie, when he snuck in the car Saturday. So this was the journey. The list came out Monday. He went on the varsity. He sat in the car about 20 minutes after we got home. And I know he was in his feelings. And I said, Dane, you got to let him be in his feelings. You got to let him be in his feelings, because he's going to have to figure it out. He's going to have to fight himself out of that. And nothing I'm going to say is going to help him fight out of it. He fought out of it. He said, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be. I guess that's a conversation he had with himself. But he sat in the car for about 20-something minutes. And I said, let him sit in the car, right? Coach told him the next day, we're going to give you reps in the scrimmage versus Prairie View or whatever down Stafford that we had last Thursday night. And he got plenty of action. And I'll be the first one to say, you know, he didn't get an interception. He got one deflected pass. He got one group tackle, whatnot. But this is what I say. When I looked at him, he looked like he's supposed to be out there. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't scared. He wasn't tense. He wasn't overplaying the play. He wasn't underplaying the play. You know, he was doing his job, right? So Friday, I guess the JV meets separate from the varsity, and then they all practice at 4. They get out of school like 2 something. I don't know how it goes. I'll be working. I'll be making donuts, figuratively. So he was called up to the varsity meeting Friday. I said, okay. They had practice Saturday. And he was told then, you're not going to suit up for JV, you're going to suit up for varsity. So when he gets in the car from the practice, he tells me, he says, Dad, I'm not going to be playing JV this week. And I say, huh? Why? Because I'm going to be playing varsity. So he tried to slide it on me. And it definitely was a problem. And I said all that to say that that was a punch in the goddamn mouth for every damn hater that might have hated on him, that felt like, you know what, that I talk a lot of shit. Guess what? I was going to talk a lot of shit if he was where he was at. I'd talk a lot of shit if he sat on the goddamn bench. I'd talk a lot of shit if he walked away from football. You can't stop me from talking. Talk even louder that I know that you don't like what I'm saying. I talk even louder when I know that you don't like the words that are coming out of my mouth. With our kids, with your kids, with my kids, the investment starts with you. You can't expect nobody to nurture your child like you. Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you, Coach. Thank you. You know, you can't expect nobody to cultivate your child like you. Let me tell you something. One thing that I can do right, that if I don't do nothing else, I'm going to invest in my child. Spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever. You know. So, you know, Bravo Awards, man. Let me tell you something. Man, I got and I say this, and I don't care. All y'all hard-head jokers getting mad. I got a group of ladies that are top dogs. I got a group of ladies that's on top of, like, here it is. This is what's going on so hard? What's happening? I got a group of ladies that's on top of it. Let me tell you something. The investment, right? We're not talking about the financial investment. We're talking about the planning. The financial investment going to come soon. We're talking about the planning, the ideas that's being thrown around, the mental wrangling of everything will blow your head. And let me tell you something that I said it before, I said it again. You got a lot of y'all men that say, man, what you need, Bravo? Miss me with that shit. Miss me. Miss me with that shit. Miss me with that shit. And the reason why I say miss me with that shit, because at the end of the day, Bravo Awards ain't a cheap date. I want to show you the rings that I got designed so bad, I'm busting at the goddamn seams. That's just one small aspect of it. But just the preparation of trying to work on the presentation, the look, the design. This is the 5th year. This is a big year. This is a monumental year. This is 5. This is the 5th year. Think of how many people we recognized last year. We recognized about 100 and something football athletes, and we recognized about 100 or so cheerleaders. So well over 200 kids, and that's just 1 year. So what about the year before that, and the year before that, and the first year? And I can't take all the credit. I ain't gonna show you, Quentin. I ain't gonna show you, Quentin. I ain't gonna show you. You gotta hold on. I want to show you though. I definitely want to show you because I'm excited. I ain't gonna lie to you, Quentin. I'm excited about this goddamn. I kid you not. The people that know, give me an amen if you're on this goddamn live. The people that seen it, give me an amen if you're on this live. If you think that ring is gonna be phenomenal. But think about this, Quentin, and I say this. I try to create the ring with love, with care, consideration. I do it so when the kid gets it, this is me thinking like a 8-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 13-year-old. That when the kid gets it, they're gonna be wow. And when they come off the stage and they show it to the parent gonna be like, wow. That's why I always tell y'all, and y'all think I be talking to hear myself talk, that the ring is the most important thing to me. The trophies and all that stuff, that's y'all. Like, I get it. Y'all want the superlatives of best this and best that. But the actual ring is the most important part of that program to me. That's that show. That's why I always try to make sure that every kid gets one. That's why I try to make sure every kid gets one. Well, every kid that's nominated that comes gets one. Man, my son talks about you all season, you know, and that's the thing, Coach Quentin. That's what I don't do it for kids to be like, I do it for when kids see it, like they are wow. And when they look at it, they feel like, you know what? I earned this. Because that's what the hell it is. People get confused about a lot of things. That's what the hell it is. That's what the hell it is. Let me tell you something. A lot of goddamn things I can be doing on that January night. A lot of things. What's up, Al? I know you mad with me. As I've been meaning to call, I've been shamed. Cause I've been shamed, Alex. You know, you're my main man. I know you want to bust me. I'm gonna make it up to you one of these days. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm gonna make it up to you, Alex. But think about this, right? That's my satisfaction. Like, y'all winning AYF championships and trophies and Vapor championships. That's y'all satisfaction. My satisfaction when I see these young men, especially since we've been able to do it in the venue. When I see these superstar kids walk across that stage, man, they Sunday's best, man, and they looking sharp. And the parents, you look out in the goddamn crowd, you see the pride in the parents' eyes, and then the grandparents, I'm proud, and the aunts, and the cousins, the brothers, and so forth. Let me tell you something. That's my goddamn Super Bowl. Fuck me. Man, when those kids light up, because at the end of the day, they're like, wow. And it's earned. That's why I say the ring is the most important part of me. Naturally, you know, like, he loves them rings more than the Lineman of the Year award. Let me tell you something, Coach, and I swear on everything I love, that ring is the most important thing to me with these kids, because I feel like this at the end of the day, the ring not only represents me trying to give them my best, because see, the trophies are somebody else's creation. The trophies are somebody else's creation. The trophies, they're pre-made. I have nothing to do with the trophies as far as creation, except putting the goddamn Lineman of the Year placard on it. And I got a young lady that orders it and does those for me. So I don't even really do that part of the goddamn process, right? But the rings come from my creation, come from my heart, my mindset. And when I hand the kid that ring, when it says believe, it says that, and I stand on, I keep saying it over and over and over and over again. Believe in your goddamn self, because Bravo believe in you, and your parents believe in you, and your coaches believe in you. But most important, you got to believe in you. And that's the most important thing to me. That's my contribution to the world. Like I said, it was created in the likeness of that little big head son of mine. But it spawned into something much greater than what it was with him. And naturally, he's my success story as far as, and when I say mine, you got daggone right. My investment in him is translating into him being who he is. Because if I don't do nothing every day, I tell him, boy, I believe in you, get your ass up, go out there and get it how you got to get it. I think people, if you don't know nothing else about me, I love my son, but I don't baby my son. I will walk from here to China for my son, but I will make his ass run from here to China if I feel like it's going to make him better. I don't give him a break, but I will break off in your ass if I had to protect him. And so Bravo Awards, we working on it, man. We got Mary. Everybody know Mary. You know, Mary is the do all. Mary got her hands in everything, and she has a knack of basically, man, you know, working magic. You know, I got Mr. Keisha Hogan. Mr. Keisha Hogan in the background, and you know, here's the thing is, you know, I put titles on these ladies, but at the end of the day, these ladies do more for Bravo Awards than Bravo does, and that's a shame to say. You know, I got Miss Samantha Bagley, and you know, she's over the cheer department. And let me tell you something. I'm like, sometimes you got to wonder, like, how did this person get on board with me, or how did we meet and whatnot? And I just remember when we reached out for cheer people, she was one of the people that was always energetic, putting out ideas, you know, comment or, hey, that's, you know, whatever. And it's those type of people with that energy that you got to have around you. I don't say, here's the thing is this. With me, if I put out there, first thing I say is, what's your thoughts? Because when I put out there, it's not etched in stone. It's not etched in stone. I want to know what you think. I want to know your ideas. I want to know what would you do different, if anything. You know, because we always, just like you want to put the best product on the field or the basketball court or wherever, I want to put the best product out there for you, your children, and your families. And so, you know, Samantha Bagley, she's the chair. I got my photographer, Sahar Cameron Studios, photos, Photoshop, photo monster, whatever. She'll be coming back next year, and she's bringing along a friend. I think his name is Mahad Abbasi, and he has his company, Sapience. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, we'll figure it out. But he's going to be offering videos. And here's the thing is this, right? We're working on ideas to be creative. So think about this, right? We're doing any and everything to make this year's experience the best. For those that have been here 1 or 2 times, or been for the first 2 that was in a venue, we want you to walk away and say, man, yeah, they definitely put their foot in it. You know how when somebody make a meal, it's awesome, fantastic. You say, man, they put their foot in it. We want you to walk away next January 31st and say, man, they put their foot in that shit. They rocked the hell out of that. You know, not for no other reason. See, here's the thing is that I know this. Somebody gonna say, Bravo, you ain't shit, and guess what? Good, thank you. If I ain't shit to you, I don't care. Like, fuck, I care. You know. So you do realize that's not for you, but for those that believe in me, believe in what we do, and trust that we're gonna do our best in every aspect of this award presentation and show and process. We want you to walk away from it and be like, man, yeah. Because we all know this. Every kid's not going to walk away with a trophy. Every kid's not going to walk away with the best of. But like I always promise, and I stand on that, every kid will walk away from my most valued prize, certified dog ring. And every cheerleader going to walk away with a Bravo's Angel ring. But anyway, man, I'll be at Centerville High on Thursday. And like I said, I'm going to say it one last time because I can and I want to. Congratulations, son, landing last. You'll be taking the field this Thursday as a freshman, as a true freshman. As a true freshman, you'll be taking the field with your Forest Park Bruins varsity team. And know this, son, I said to you in the world, you ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. So whether you get 1 play or 100 plays, I am very proud of you. I'm proud of the young man that you are in the classroom. I'm very proud of the young man that you are in society. And I'm definitely proud of the young man that you are on the football field. And can't nobody block you from your trajectory in life but you. I want for your children, so we're going to end this on this note. I want for your children what I want for mine, and that's success. I want for your babies the same thing. When I wake up and I say, Land, I want you to be the best you, that same prayer and that same mindset is for each and one of your babies that have touched me. Hey, Miss Leslie, how you doing? It was good to see y'all this past weekend. I meant to take some pictures with the boys, but I was trying to move and groove on the field. But it's always, keep that in mind. A lot of y'all can't say that, but Bravo can, for sure. If anything I said tonight hurt your feelings, so the fuck what? Walk away from this bitch with a sore ass and hurt feelings. I hope that something I said, it was only one word that was a benefit. And keep this in mind, we we're the determining factors in our kids' lives. If our child is doing bad in school, it's our job to figure out why and to help them. We can't blame everybody. We need to figure out the problem so we can come up with a solution. If they own a sports team and things are not panning out, you got to get to the root of the problem. Is it the child? Is it the coach? Is it the environment? And here's the thing, ain't nothing wrong with removing your child from an environment that's not conducive to who you need them to be. I don't give a damn. Y'all have a great week. I will see y'all at some point Thursday evening, and definitely Freestyle Friday. And as the football season kicks off, man, do me a favor, man. Do me several favors, man. You know, when I put up blogs and tell y'all to send me some action shots, send me the action shots, because guess what? We remember how we did it last year where we had the action shots coming in the thing? Well, this year it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a lot better. So, I just say, you know,